Dear fellow citizens, I have some more proof here. Millions of examples I could show you, but I don't need to. Every single newspaper, every single day, basically says every single day that the newspapers lied every single day. Example. This is AM New York, piece of shit paper. This is from August 2008. Look at this cover. Stinky streets. There's no escaping it. The summer heat mixed with more trash makes for one smelly city here in New York. But wait a minute. AM New York and every other periodical and news broadcast on Earth said that Bloomberg and Giuliani cleaned up New York City massively and turned it into a renaissance and a utopia, blah, blah, blah. I and other people said there was no truth to that at all, and it can be proven over and over again. You can ask my critics to debate me. They will choke because they know if you put me and them on the same stage, they will look like lying fucking frauds. But this doesn't make any sense. We're talking now, we're on year 15 of the greatest renaissance New York City ever saw, said AM New York. Now what they do though is they make sure when they write this stuff, they complain about all the problems because New York City has nothing but problems. And they complain about these problems, but they leave out the fact of the men who are responsible. Look at this here. You cannot, this is a politician nearby in the neighborhood. You cannot teach a child to use litter baskets because there aren't any. One of Giuliani's solutions, was to get rid of all the trash cans so that the city wouldn't have to pick up trash. Get rid of the trash cans. It was genius. Genius. And it created, look at these. They say the place is filthy. They say the city's stats say the streets are mostly clean. The New York Times, after praising Giuliani, told the truth once and said, we checked their statistics. They're all fabricated. The statistics of city cleanliness are fabricated. But they didn't say, well, that's bad of Mayor Giuliani to do. They pretend it's the city that's bad. Not the mayor who runs the city, it's the city. That's right. It's the city who told us that the mayor was great. It wasn't the government or the media that's in bed with the government that deceive the taxpayers. So every election, people vote for another piece of garbage who doesn't fucking solve any of their problems. Criminals. If this cover exists, you could arrest almost every journalist in America today because they all told you this wasn't the situation. Fight back. Look at this, a different paper today about this area, Red Hook. It's a historical area they're destroying. But it says here, a study released by the city in June estimated New York will lose $150 million in revenue to other ports because of dearth in docks. So they're saying the city released a study that says the mayor who runs everything in the city is responsible for costing the city $50 to $150 million. I agree with you. Why did you leave the mayor's name off of it? Huh? Is it the clouds that are causing all these problems? Oh, maybe it's the trees that are causing all these problems, or the puppy dogs. No, it's the politicians who run everything. Ask any crook in the media. Say, we think you're all a bunch of fascist criminals. But you can prove you aren't by debating Christopher Brodeur in public. I will pick up a newspaper any day of the week and show you almost every single article is about how Mayor Bloomberg and Mayor Giuliani were criminals who robbed this civilization blind. But they leave out the names Mike Bloomberg and Rudy Giuliani because they gave them hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes, there's different ways to do that and pretend it's legal. Don't get me started. Look at this, auto insurance. Insurers are revving up their rates. Whoa, wow. That's bad news for New York, raising the car insurance rates, who already pay the second highest premiums in the country. Whoa, no. We had 15 years of Republican leading us here in New York City. We had a Republican governor. We had a Republican mayor. We now have another Republican mayor. They promised lower rates, more competition, lower rates. This this article is either a lie or it means their previous articles about how the mayor and the governor fixed everything and lowered all the prices were lies. Which is it? You either lied or you lied. Either way, these newspapers and their reporters and their editors and their owners must be brought to justice. They have stolen hundreds of trillions of dollars from you and me. We need to start fighting back. Look at this here. Here's a person at the end here says, it's frustrating when the bill comes, the insurance bill, she says, but you have to pay. There's really nothing you can do. Whoa. If I'm reading this, that means somebody lied to you and me. No choice. That's the opposite of America. You were promised and I was promised. America stood for freedom of choice. But we know that's not true. America is a totalitarian fascist country. You do not have a choice whether you pay your taxes or not. You pay whatever they tell you to pay or else you're going to jail. That's called mafia. That's organized crime. We have no choice. As consumers or voters, we have a right to choose one piece of shit or the other piece of shit for office. Every election. It is Nazi Germany times a zillion. People, fight back against our totalitarian, anti-American, illegal criminal politicians and their criminal journalists. Here's the Daily News praising the new governor, Patterson, for doing what none of the other governors, who they all endorsed, did, which is he's saying, I want to know where every penny goes in the budget. Now, that's a hoax anyhow. It's never going to happen. But I could tell them, they know this. I've exposed hundreds of thousands of scandals where they just flush tax money down the toilet. They've never asked me for a list of places to write about or a list of scandals to write about. They, in fact, endorsed every single time the people who robbed the city blind. These people are criminals. Zuckerman and the rest of them are criminals. Look at this, call to account. Really? Well, now let's talk here. Here they talk about the ACS, another child beaten who was under the supervision of Mike Bloomberg. And what's amazing is ACS, the Administration of Children's Services, every single newspaper praised Giuliani, who created it, because there was so much child abuse in New York City under Giuliani. So Giuliani did what Stalin and Hitler did. You change the fucking name and you pretend you fix things. They then write articles every month about how nothing's fixed, and they continue to say Giuliani fixed everything, but then they write articles about how bad everything is and leave Giuliani's name out. Here's a story about how Mike Bloomberg's administration failed in every regard, and they left out the name Mike Bloomberg, the man in charge. Why would you leave out the name of the man in charge? Where the buck stops. They say the buck stops here. Well, then name him. If you said Mike Bloomberg didn't do anything about it, he'd be publicly shamed and he'd have to do something about it. But they say, let's leave out the names of the people responsible so nothing ever gets fixed. Because why would Bloomberg fix anything if he doesn't have to fix anything? Because he's off the hook. Because we've continued to mislead the people of America. If you mislead the people of America, you have committed a serious crime. Whether it's felony, you can get you on treason statutes. You have to fight back, ladies and gentlemen. You have a right to stop Nazis as they steal your money and steal your freedoms.